I don't believe that Justin Fields can do enough to get the Bears to not draft a quarterback with that Panthers pick.
Bears defense now. Can't run on it. Number one in the league against the rush, was going into today. Excellent on third down. Only allowed 13 first downs with Jared Goff.
I think they're well down the list, but just the game off the pace. And I think that as long as you've got a chip in a chair, you should never consider yourself out of the game.
7 NFL general managers weighed in on a comparison between Justin Fields and Caleb Williams. Unanimously, all 7 chose Caleb Williams, emphasizing that a quarterback's loss record isn't always indicative of their skill, especially considering the circumstances. Last season, the Bears seemed focused on securing the top draft pick, which some might interpret as tanking. Fields was working with arguably the weakest roster in the league, facing challenges like a defense that conceded an average of 30 points per game and an underperforming offensive line. The team's skill positions were also lacking, despite the presence of talents like Darnell, Mooney, and Kmet, who alone aren't enough to bolster a young quarterback. Amidst these obstacles and below average coaching, Justin Fields still managed to play pretty well, making the Bears a surprisingly competitive team, despite their poor league record. They often lost by narrow margins. This season, they've moved beyond mere competitiveness to being an actual team that you really got a game plan for. In this video, I'm going to be talking everything Bears, talking about their upcoming game against the Cleveland Browns, and also talking about how they've completely turned things around and how they're starting to turn a lot of heads at this point in the season. But before I begin, I would really appreciate it if you would drop a like and subscribe. It only takes 5 seconds, plus you can always change your mind, and your support truly does mean everything. Alright. So the Bears are a good team, and if you've been watching the past, month of Chicago Bears football, or not month, okay, 2-3 weeks. When Justin Fields has been back and healthy, you've seen that the Bears look very solid. They almost look like a playoff level team. And since we keep talking about Caleb Williams, I'm not even going to say he has a higher ceiling than Justin Fields, because Fields is an athletic freak with a cannon, and he's already played on the worst roster in the league and made them competitive, so how does Caleb have a higher ceiling? I mean, Caleb might not even be the best Pac-12 quarterback. Alright, now let's shift focus to the Cleveland Browns game. In the first 8 weeks, they were the NFL's top defense, but injuries have since hampered their depth. Key players like Juan Thornhill, Ronnie McLeod, and Grant Delpit are sidelined, along with a few frontline players. There are also uncertainties around guys like Jordan Elliott and Anthony Walker. Despite these setbacks, the Browns are still playing pretty well for their circumstances and will be a very tough opponent. Talking more about Fields, recently, general managers discussed Fields' value, suggesting that his worth would be clearer after the next 4 games. The highest offer from a GM for Fields was a second-round pick. And while a second rounder can be valuable, for a guy like him, that is nothing. And this situation shows the complexities of NFL trades and player evaluations, because you would think he would be worth more. But if other teams don't view the ceiling as high, then they're not going to give up a lot for somebody that they don't see as a big part of their future moving forward. Typically, top talents in the NFL draft are selected in the first round. However, there are numerous instances where exceptional players emerge from mid or late round picks. For example, Brock Purdy was a last round draft pick. The first round offers the best chance to secure elite talent, which is crucial for teams like the Bears, and as they evaluate players like Fields, they have another season to consider his 5th-year option, so it's wise to keep enhancing the team around him. Despite some inconsistencies in his performance sometimes, his recent games have showcased his impressive passing skills. In addition to his improved passing, Fields' running ability is what he's known for, and he almost uses his running ability to sort of set up the passing game, and this was a factor in someone like Anthony Richardson's high draft selection, emphasizing the value of a dual-threat quarterback. Josh Allen, for instance, was initially more recognized for his running than his passing, but he developed into a more complete quarterback over time. The rushing skills of players like Fields and Allen add an extra dimension to their game. In my eyes, Justin Fields at 24 shows promise as the future of the franchise for the Chicago Bears. With his 25th birthday approaching in March, he's still developing, and the Bears are now starting to put talent around him, and again, like I've said a million times, this is where you get to find out what he's truly made of, because you can't judge someone who's playing with a team that is outmatched literally every single week. So yeah, the front office has been creating a strong support system for Fields. I believe he has the potential to rank among the top 10 quarterbacks in the league, and he just needs to stay level-headed and continue to play his game. Currently, the Bears are just a game away from the playoffs and also hold a top draft pick. So yeah, there's speculation about drafting a quarterback driven by media narratives and Chicago's popularity. But the focus remains on Fields and the Bears' remaining games against the Browns, Cardinals, Falcons, and Packers, and they are all winnable. So a strong finish could put them in the wildcard game. And honestly, I think fans would be pretty satisfied by just that alone, because this season early on was starting to look like a wash, but the guys really stuck together and bought into the system, and they are starting to reap the rewards. In my view, if the Bears win 3 of their next 4 games, moving from a 5-8 record to 8-9, I think they are gonna make it. And outside of the top teams, the NFC really isn't that strong. So honestly, I think they should make it with how well they've been playing as of late. And they're a young team playing with house money, so if they make it to the big stage, then anything can happen. And who knows, maybe Justin Fields will have the game of his life. Alright, before I end off this video, I want to talk a little bit about the Bears defense because they've only allowed 23 points over the last 2 games, which is a big improvement from what was happening earlier in the season. The same unit that permitted 34.3 points and 383.3 yards over its first 4 games has held opponents to 19.9 points and 286.1 yards over its last 8 contests. Key areas of improvement include generating takeaways, pressuring the quarterback, stopping the run, and getting off the field on 3rd down. After producing 9 takeaways in the first 10 games, the Bears have forced 8 turnovers in their last 2 contests, including 7 interceptions. The rush and coverage kind of work hand in hand, said safeties coach Andre Curtis. We've been pressuring the quarterback at a high rate with not blitz, but 4-man rushes that increase pressure, which is always good. The better you rush them, the tighter you cover them, usually you put yourself in good positions for things to happen, and the guys have been in good positions to capitalize on them. So yeah, the Bears have really had quite the turnaround this season, and I can't wait to see what they do over the next few weeks. That's really all I have to say for this video. Thank you all so much if you made it to this point, and if you enjoyed and haven't yet, make sure to like and subscribe, because your support truly means the world. Also, with the playoff race really starting to heat up, there is just so much to talk about across the league, so let me know what you would like to see next. And until then, I will see you all later.